Today, we are going to be talking about how to set up performance monitoring with Gatekeeper. We need to navigate to the Server Settings section and then navigate to Performance tab. Currently, Gatekeeper is able to monitor MySQL performance. It can monitor Apache and Nginx performance as well, and you could add other custom services also. To enable MySQL monitoring, you need to enable this checkbox, which enables MySQL performance monitoring. Then you need to enter the host information and the username to access this database and the password for that user. By default, MySQL is available on 3306 port. However, if you use a different port, you could change it here. You can also create a completely separate user to monitor the database. That user would only have access to MySQL performance schema and related tables. If you intend to do that, you can follow the instructions mentioned here. Creating a MySQL user is a very simple 4 to 5 step process. We shall provide the link for these instructions in the description section of this video. You could follow exactly same steps to monitor MariaDB as well. If you are using managed services to host database at Amazon, AWS, or Azure or Google Cloud, you could still monitor those databases with Gatekeeper. If you're using an auto-scaling database, you may want to enable this radio button. This will tell Gatekeeper to not connect with the database every minute to fetch the real-time statistics. It will only connect with the database once every 4 to 8 hours to get consolidated set of performance statistics. Gatekeeper collects information from MySQL in 2 different ways. One is, it collects real-time information every minute, and other consolidated information. It collects once every 4 to 8 hours. Now, I will briefly talk about what all information we collect from MySQL. Every minute we collect how many connections or threads are running, and for each thread, what is the query running on the database. So if there is a query that takes a long time to process, it will show up here. This makes it really easy to identify queries consuming a lot of processing. Gatekeeper also collects read-write counts and how many statements are running every minute on MySQL. Gatekeeper collects the latency statistics as well. It also collects service-level statistics such as memory usage, CPU usage by MySQL as well. Gatekeeper also collects and displays the total latency per table. This data primarily shows how the latency is changing over time for a particular table. You could also see which table is causing the maximum latency on the database server. This section displays top 10 tables by latency. This section here shows top 10 database tables in terms of number of rows, so it will tell you how the table is growing over time. And then the last bit of information is what queries are running, how much time are they taking to execute. It also gives how many times are those queries running. So this will essentially help you figure out which query is actually consuming most of the CPU and how many times it is running. You could use this information to quickly find out which queries need to be optimized for performance. Now, moving on to the next service, with Gatekeeper you could easily enable Apache performance monitoring as well. You just have to check this checkbox, and that will enable Apache performance monitoring on your server. Gatekeeper assumes that Apache is installed at the default location on your server. If you've installed Apache at a location different from default, then you need to provide the Apache install path on the settings. Based on the Apache installation folder, the Gatekeeper is able to automatically detect all the settings of Apache. It is able to figure out what all domains are hosted on the server and is able to find out the corresponding error and access log files as well. All the collected information is displayed on Gatekeeper dashboard. Here we can see the type of information captured from Apache. First of all, Gatekeeper displays the number of requests Apache is processing per minute. Along with the number of requests, Gatekeeper captures the response code for the processed requests as well. Gatekeeper collects URLs, which are returning response codes other than 200 and 300 series, and displays the URL along with the returned response code. This helps you quickly find out which URLs are being accessed and are returning failure response. Gatekeeper also displays the statistics based on GET and POST requests. It also tracks Apache at service level, so it is able to capture how much memory or CPU is being used by Apache. With Gatekeeper, you can also see how many Apache processes are running on the server in real time. Coming back to the settings side, if you have Nginx running on your server, you can enable monitoring for the same. It works exactly similar to the way Apache works. If Nginx is installed at the default location on the server, Gatekeeper is automatically able to process the config files to figure out the error and access log file paths. Gatekeeper is also able to figure out what all domains are hosted with Nginx. Gatekeeper is able to show exactly same statistics as displayed for Apache on the dashboard. Moving on to the last setting option on the performance monitoring page. If you want to monitor any custom services running on the server, that can also be done with Gatekeeper. To monitor other services, you simply input an easily recognizable name that you want to see on Gatekeeper dashboard. And then you enter the actual service name that you use to start or stop the service from command line on the server. For example, if you want to monitor Gatekeeper, then you could enter that name here, and then you need to input the exact service command line name on the next box. So, for Gatekeeper, it will be Gatekeeper Monitoring. Once you have entered details, you can click Save, and that would enable the monitoring also of this service. For any custom service, Gatekeeper will collect its memory usage, CPU's usage, whether the service currently is running or not. One important point to note is, after your changes on this page, Gatekeeper may take up to 2 hours to start collecting the information. If you want to apply the changes immediately, you will need to restart the Gatekeeper agent running on the server. This completes the setup for performance monitoring with Gatekeeper. I hope it was easy to follow. Thanks for watching.